Hello, welcome to Sharon Be Making Stuff. So today I'm going to be sharing with you guys a very fun and easy craft idea that you can do for Earth Day. Now the purpose of this craft is not for you to go out and buy new materials, it's for you to actually challenge yourself and see if you can use the things that you already have lying around in your room or in your house or in your classroom and try to repurpose these leftover materials into art. So the materials that I'm using in my video today are just some examples of leftover materials that I had from a previous art project that I did with my students, and so we're just using those today to create a new art piece. Which means if you don't have the exact same materials that I'm using, don't worry, because the point is to try to find something similar that you already do have and see if you can get a little bit creative and have some fun with it. So if you guys want to learn how to make this really pretty 3D pop-up flower art using recycled materials, woo, save the environment, then let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty, so to get started with materials, I'm just using some leftover colored tissue paper along with some old scrap newspapers and some brown paper. I think this is like old wrapping paper that I had lying around, but I found that brown packaging paper also works really well for this. Next, I have some just white cardstock paper that I was going to throw in the recycle anyway, and I'm going to be using that today. And for tools, I'm going to be using a pair of scissors, a glue stick, and a pencil. So first things first, I'm going to apply glue onto my sheet of cardstock paper. Then I'm going to rip little squares of tissue paper and just stick them all over the cardstock. It doesn't matter which way or order you do it. You can do it in any way you please that will satisfy your eyeballs. I don't know what I'm saying. You get the gist. So one important tip to remember is to cover up all the white spaces on your cardstock sheet, and you can do so by overlapping your tissue pieces, and it's totally cool if you go over the edge because you can just trim them off after you're done. Okay, so after you're like done this painstakingly boring and monotonous ordeal of gluing copious amounts of tissue paper on a piece of cardstock, just kidding. Who am I kidding? We're doing a tutorial with Sharon Be Making Stuff here. Everything with Sharon Be Making Stuff is super fun and exciting. Okay, let's move on. So after you are done talking to yourself, like I am, we can start on the 3D pop-up flower. So to start this, you are going to grab your newspaper with lots of text because I find the words give a really nice contrast. You're going to trace out a circle, or you can draw it out if you're really good at drawing circles. I mean, you do you. It's about the size of the end of a large glue stick or the size of a quarter, and you're just going to cut out that little itty bitty circle. Yep. So this itty bitty circle is going to be the center of our flower, and we are going to be building the flower outwards by alternating between the two different materials. So all I'm doing is just placing my first circle onto a piece of brown recycled paper, leaving about an inch all the way around the circle and just roughly tracing it all the way around. And then I'm going to cut that out as circle number 2. And now once circle number 2 is cut out, we're going back to the newspaper, once again placing it on an area with more text and just roughly tracing it all the way around, leaving about an inch of space. And this is going to be circle number 3. Once again, we're going to place circle number 3 onto brown paper, leave about an inch, roughly trace all the way around, and it's okay if it's not straight at this point. It actually looks a little bit better if it's not too perfect looking. And this becomes circle number 4. And you're just going to keep on doing this until you have 6 circles altogether. Alrighty, so moving on to the fun part of assembling the flower together, we're going to start off with the center, and we're going to glue circle number 1 onto circle number 2. But now, when we're gluing every other piece, you're only gluing the center. You're not gluing all the way around because we want those petals to stick out afterwards to create that 3D effect. So if you're gluing everything down now, you're not going to have anything to crinkle and fluff up and to make it 3D. So make sure you're leaving that edge clean and you're just gluing the middle. So once the flower is complete, go ahead and glue that onto your tissue paper background, remembering only to glue the middle and not the whole entire thing. So the next step is to just make a stem for the flower, and all I'm using is just newspaper once again, and I purposely chose one with lots of text. I'm cutting it down to size, and I'm just going to glue that right underneath the flower. So to finish off the design, I'm going to draw some leaves on a piece of newspaper, once again choosing the areas with more text, and then I'm going to cut it out and glue those on. And just to give our art piece a more completed and finished look, I'm going to flip it over and give all the pieces of tissue paper that are hanging off a nice good trim. Okay, so now for the final step in our craft project, we are going to turn this flower into a 3D pop-up flower. So I'm starting in the center. I'm going to grab circle number 2, pinch it, push it together, and then rotate. So you're just going to repeat the same process for all 6 layers until every single layer is worked on and the layers are nice and wrinkly. Alrighty, so that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, and of course, if you guys ever recreate any of my DIYs or recipes, don't forget to take a photo, #SharonBeMakinStuff on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, because I would love to see it, especially for things like this where you can get so creative or even be inspired by it and come up with something completely different. That is amazing. So anyway, if you haven't already subscribed, don't forget to do so, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!